I fucked a stranger in the forest. Now he's everywhere I go. Trigger warning. Blood! My wrists are burning. Rope, tight, rough. Digging into skin. My throat is dry. My wrists ache. And the first thing I register is the cold. Not the kind that bites your skin, but the kind that seeps in. Into your spine, into your chest, into your blood. Then I notice the rope. Tied tight around my ankles, too. Chair beneath me, wood. Unforgiving. My heart kicks hard in my chest. No windows. Dim lighting. Bare floor. And silence. Where am I? I jerk forward, but the ropes don't budge. Panic surges up, fast and hot. Hello? I shout, voice cracking. What? The actual shitting hell? What is this? And then I hear it. Boots. Slow, steady. Someone's coming. I whip my head around just in time to see the door creak open, and he walks in. Tall, unrushed, unbothered, like this is just another day. His face is unreadable, stone cut into skin, jet black hair falling into his eyes, like even gravity's scared to touch him. He's built lean, but hard, like someone who's lived too many fights and walked away from all of them. His eyes land on me, and stay there. I go still. He doesn't speak, doesn't move closer, just leans against the door frame like I'm not tied up in the middle of the room like a kidnapped idiot. What is this? I spit. No answer. My voice rises. Do you know what kind of shit you're in right now? Let me go before... You talk too much. It's quiet, low. His voice isn't rough. It's smooth, controlled, deadly. And somehow that makes it worse. Excuse me? He takes a step forward. Not fast, measured, heavy, intentional. I hate how my breath catches. I hate how my skin prickles. Who are you? I demand. Another step. He's in no rush. Why the ropes? I go on, trying to sound brave even though my heart beats slamming like a freaking drum. You gonna torture me or just stand there like a creep? Still, nothing. He crouches in front of me now, eye level, and I swear to God I forget how to breathe. There's this energy to him, like he's holding back a storm, like if he moved just a little too fast, the room might catch fire. He doesn't touch me, doesn't threaten me. He just watches, like I'm some puzzle he's trying to solve. Stop looking at me like that, I mutter. Like what? Like you're trying to crawl inside my head. His lips twitch, almost a smirk, but it doesn't reach his eyes. I don't need to, he says softly. You wear your fear like a badge. I'm not scared of you. Lieutenant, it hangs there between us. Then he says, but you should be. That shuts me up. He rises again, slow and smooth, paces a little, not out of nervousness, more like a panther in a cage, coiled, restless, and still watching me. Something about him is infuriating and hypnotic. You haven't hurt me yet, I say, more to myself than him. Why? He stops pacing. Then, maybe I like watching you squirm. I flinch. Jesus. Or maybe I'm waiting, he adds, stepping closer, to see what kind of man you are, what kind of lies you tell, what kind of secrets you keep. My mouth opens, then shuts, because he's not wrong. He leans down again, closer this time. His breath brushes my cheek, and I know I should pull away. I want to pull away, but I don't. My voice drops. If you're trying to break me, it's not gonna work. His answer is barely a whisper. Who says I want to break you? And that's when I realize he's not trying to break me, he's trying to see me, strip me down, layer by layer, until I don't even recognize myself. And the worst part, some sick, twisted part of me wants him to, wants to be undone. A week later. I stopped counting days after the first week. This cabin, it's buried so deep in the jungle I wouldn't know which direction to run if I could. The windows are boarded, the door's always locked, and even when he loosens the ropes, he's never far. At first, I screamed, fought, threatened him. Now, I just glare. Wait. Watch him the way he watches me. He's always watching. His name is Dante. He said it like it meant nothing, just a name, but it landed heavy, like a warning. He sits across from me now, tossing a knife in the air, catching it lazily, like I'm just some caged animal he's deciding what to do with. Why the hell am I still here? I snap. What do you want from me? He doesn't answer right away, just gives me that slow, infuriating look, like he sees through me. You're wanted, he finally says, by a certain man. I want to understand why. I blink. That's it? For now, I scoff. Creepy way to do research. That smirk again. Hell, that smirk. He tosses the knife on the table, stands, walks over. Too close. Always too close. He grabs the rope on my wrist and loosens it. Not fully. Just enough to let me shift. I stare up at him. Why not just let me go? He shrugs. Because you haven't told me the truth yet. My heart's beating. Faster now. Because I don't know what he means. And because, shit, he smells like danger and something stupidly addictive. A month later. It's been a month. I can walk around the cabin now, eat, shower. He watches, but from a distance. Never touches. But I feel it. That tension between us, tight like wire. Every look, every silence, every time I catch him staring just a little too long. It's night. The rain's loud on the tin roof. Power's out again. I'm on the floor by the fire, arms around my knees, trying not to think about how weirdly peaceful this is. And then he sits next to me. No words, just heat. His shoulder brushes mine. I flinch. He doesn't move away. You know, I say, voice low, you're not supposed to be the hot one. He turns to me, eyebrow raised. Who's the other one? None of your business. He grins. It's small, but it's real. And it wrecks me. Do you always flirt with your kidnappers? He asks. I want to punch him. I want to kiss him. I hate that I want both. No, I say. Just the ones who make me feel like I'm about to either get kissed or shoved against a wall. He doesn't respond, just stares at me. And that stare? It's not cold anymore. 2 months in, we talk more now. Real stuff, music, food, places we've never been. But we also argue a lot about life, about freedom, about whether he's a monster or not. He makes me laugh when I don't want to. Makes me furious with just a look. But he doesn't look away from me anymore. Not when I change shirts. Not when I bite my lip by accident. Not when I lean too close during dinner just to see if he'll flinch. Tonight, I catch him staring again. From the kitchen, while I sit on the couch. What? I ask. He doesn't look away. You're not afraid anymore. No, I admit. That's the problem. His voice is quiet. Why's that a problem? Because I shouldn't like it here. He nods once, steps forward, slowly, like I might bolt, but I don't. Why do you? He asks, and I say it, because hell it, because you see me, and you still look. 2 weeks later. It was a mistake, a lightning flash moment that shouldn't have happened. I was yelling at him. I don't even remember what about. Something about keeping me locked up. Something about wanting me, but pretending he didn't. And then he grabbed me, hard, shoved me back against the wall. Our chests collided. My breath punched out of me. His hand was still wrapped around my arm, tight. His eyes searched mine like he didn't trust what he was seeing. I shouldn't, he growled. I stared at him. I know, I whispered, but don't stop. And then he kissed me, rough, furious, like something he'd been choking back for years, and I kissed him back, like I hated him, like I needed him. It didn't last long. He pulled away first, swore under his breath, turned and walked out. I touched my lips, still breathless, still burning. 3 months later. It's been almost 3 months. Something between us cracked open. We don't talk about the kiss, but it's there, Every time he walks past, every time he brushes his hand near mine. And then it happens. One night, he leaves. I don't know why, but I know the door was unlocked and I ran. I didn't make it far, but someone found me first. Lorenzo. He pulls me into his arms. I collapse against him. Safe, warm, familiar. Freaking shit, Juan, he whispers. Are you okay? I've been looking for you for months. I nod. Tears sting my eyes. Get me out of here. We run. He leads the way. We're just at the edge of the trees when a voice cuts through the dark. Going somewhere? We freeze. I turn slowly. Dante stands there, shirt half unbuttoned, cigarette between his fingers, green eyes glowing under the moonlight. Then his gaze slides to Lorenzo, and he smirks. Hello, brother. A few minutes later. The second I heard, hello, brother, I knew I wasn't making it out clean. Lorenzo froze. His grip on my wrist tightened. I could feel his pulse hammering through his palm. I turned. Dante stood in the shadows like he owned them. Shoulders relaxed, cigarette glowing between his fingers, eyes trained on Lorenzo like they were born to hate each other. Should have guessed, Lorenzo muttered, stepping forward. It was you. His voice sounded older, like he just remembered some version of himself he tried to bury. Dante smirked. Nice to see you too, detective. And then they rushed each other. No hesitation, no words, just fists, fury, and years of silence erupting all at once. I stumbled back as they crashed into a tree trunk, Dante slamming Lorenzo hard. Lorenzo flipped him, knocked the wind out of him. Feral, ugly grunts filled the air. Neither held back. Stop! I shouted, but I knew they wouldn't. This wasn't about me. Dante stumbled after a hard blow. Blood at his lip. Lorenzo didn't waste. He grabbed my hand and ran. We didn't stop until we hit the edge of the jungle. About half an hour later. We're in his car. I'm staring out the window, my chest still heaving, my brain's fried. Lorenzo's knuckles are red. He's not saying anything, just quietly driving far, far away from here. From him. Finally. You okay? I nod. Then, you two really hate each other. He exhales. Yeah. We drive in silence for a while. Then I ask, what is this? Why does he hate you so much? Lorenzo's jaw tightens. Because I'm the only one who knows what he really is. I glance at him. He runs underground networks, he says. Arms, information, sometimes blood. He doesn't just exist in the underworld, Juan. He runs it. I blink. So, you knew where I was? I've been tracking him for over 3 years, he says. I'd been chasing rumors, fake names, burnt leads, all Dante. The night I met you, I was close. I had no idea you'd be caught in it because of me. God, if I'd known, I would have never... That night, I whisper. He nods. Yeah, you were drunk, lonely, and I knew I should have stayed away. But I didn't. He pauses. I wasn't supposed to fall for you. That breaks me a little. I reach for his hand. He holds it like it's the only steady thing in his world. And I say softly, I get it. You were doing your job, protecting people. You thought you were protecting me too. I was. I lean my head on the window, but it still feels like I loved someone I didn't even know. I look at him, gentle. I need time, and I open the door. He doesn't stop me. A few days later. My apartment is too quiet, too safe. I lie in bed for days. I don't text anyone. I delete Lorenzo's contact 3 times and add it back each time. I see him once. He brings coffee. We talk like friends, like maybe we can rewind everything. But it gnaws at me because I can't stop thinking about Dante. The way he stared like I was a mirror he didn't want to look into. The way he kissed me like it was a war. The way I laughed around him. God, I laughed. And I hadn't realized how much until I stopped. And the truth hit hard and fast. When I was with Dante, I forgot about Lorenzo, and I hated myself for it. I love Lorenzo, I do. But Dante, there's something twisted between us. Something that shouldn't exist, but it does. That's when the text came. Unknown. Number. Miss me, pretty boy? I immediately knew who it was. For a second, I wondered how he got it, but Dante always finds people. It's what he does. I stared at it, didn't answer. Then 2 hours later, you left without saying goodbye. Rude? Also, my lips healing fine. Thanks for the concern. I answered, and we talked every night. Nothing heavy, just teasing, banter, him asking me if I still walk around barefoot like a jungle rat, me asking if he finally washed his stupid blood-stained hoodie. But then came the twist. You should ask your detective what really happened to our father. I froze. He killed him. 2 days later, I met Lorenzo again. Coffee, cold day, too many questions in my head. He smiled like nothing was wrong. I broke the silence. He told me about your dad. He stiffened, didn't speak for a second. He thinks you killed him. Lorenzo rubbed his face, looked tired, really tired. And then, did you guys talk? I didn't hesitate. I needed to be honest for him to tell me the truth. I nodded. He looked at me like he had already lost the war. I did. My chest tightened. What? He looked me dead in the eyes. I killed him, years ago, to protect Dante. I couldn't breathe. I was 14. He was 12. Our father, he was monstrous, especially to him. One night I snapped. I saw the bruises, the fear, and I did it. He looked away. I buried the body, told Dante he left, that our mom ran too. About mom, I was telling the truth. I wanted him to have some version of family left. Not just me. Not nothing. You didn't tell him? I couldn't. I couldn't take everything away. I didn't say anything for a long time. Just sipped my coffee and watched two brothers' pain dissolve into my cup. And now here I am, in love with a man who killed to protect, drawn to a man who kills to survive, and stuck in a story I never meant to be part of. But somehow, I don't want to leave anymore. A few days later, I couldn't breathe until I got to the gate. Some half-abandoned compound deep in the hills. Dante's hideout, or at least that's where he told me to come. I'd made up my mind. I was going to tell him everything. That Lorenzo didn't lie to hurt him. That he killed their father to protect him. That this war didn't have to go on. The gate was unlocked. Too quiet. I stepped inside. Dust. Silence. A flickering hallway light. My heartbeat was like a clock counting down. I found him in the back. Room. Dante. Shirtless. Bruised. Wrapping his hand in gauze like he hadn't slept in days. His eyes snapped up the second he saw me. You shouldn't be here, he said. I needed to see you. Why? I swallowed. Stepped closer, my voice shaking. Because I know what Lorenzo did. He froze. What are you talking about? I told him everything. The bruises, the killing, the silence Lorenzo lived with. Dante didn't move, just stared at me with something unreadable in his eyes. He thought he was protecting you, I said, and he was just a kid. Still, nothing. Then slowly, Dante stood, and for the first time ever, he didn't look like fire. He looked broken. He lied to me my whole life, he whispered. Number. He loved you, I said. A long silence. Then, there's something you don't know. He walked over to a drawer, pulled out a photograph. 3 people, a mother, 2 boys, a man with sharp hazel eyes. I stared at it. Your father isn't dead. My blood ran cold. I stepped back. What? Dante looked at me. Calm, too calm. The air in the room turned cold. He didn't meet my eyes. He never died. Lorenzo didn't kill him. Or if he did, he failed. I blinked. No. Dante finally looked up. He's alive. He survived. The knife barely missed his heart. They always said Giovanni was too mean to die. He crawled out, patched himself up, vanished for months. Then he found me. My chest cracked open. You knew. My voice came out hoarse. You knew this whole time? I stumbled back, collapsing onto the edge of the desk. My legs barely held me. Why didn't you tell me? His mouth twitched. Because the second you knew, you'd run to Lorenzo. Or worse, you'd go looking. I had a right to know. Actually, maybe I didn't. But Lorenzo did. He'd been living in this guilt for years, I whispered. Dante stepped forward, his face tense. As he should be. He is weak, and in his weakness, he almost killed our father. He would have if only he wasn't the Giovanni. He's dangerous, Juan. You don't find Giovanni. He finds you. He controls everything. Me, Lorenzo, the people you pass on the street. You're afraid of him, I said. Dante didn't answer. How long? I asked, quieter. How long have you been with him? Dante swallowed hard. He found me. 10 years ago, I was 17. Lost. Angry. I had nothing. He let out a bitter laugh. He brought me to the underworld, gave me a purpose, taught me how to survive, discipline, strength. He doesn't coddle. That's not love. That's weakness. I stood. My heart was pounding now. You think that's love? I said, trembling. He made you a killer, Dante. He flinched. That's not strength. That's manipulation. He twisted you. He made me strong, Dante snapped, voice sharp. He made me what I needed to be. No, I said, stepping closer. He made you his, and you still don't see it. Silence. You think that's what a father's supposed to do? I asked. Turn his son into a weapon. Use him to kill? Control his every breath? Dante's jaw clenched. He doesn't love you, I said, voice breaking. He never did. Love doesn't hurt like this. He looked away. Tension hung thick in the air, like the walls themselves were holding their breath. And then he turned back to me, expression hard, cold. Go, he said. What? Leave, he said again. Now, while you still can. Dante, do yourself a favor, go far, disappear from both of us. My throat tightened. And no matter what, he continued, don't let Giovanni catch a whiff of you. My voice cracked. Is that a threat? His eyes softened for the briefest second. No, he whispered. It's the only way I can protect you. Even back then, Giovanni thought you were leverage he could use later. I told him you were dead or gone. I hid you, even from him. I wanted one thing that wasn't his. Please don't let it go to waste. I wanted to scream, hit him, pull him close and beg him to wake up. But he was already gone, standing there, but gone. So I turned and ran. An hour later, I did what Dante said, packed my things, cleared my phone, booked a bus out of the city before dawn. It wasn't brave, it wasn't strong, but I'd finally accepted something bitter and raw. This wasn't my world. I was a thread in a web of blood, history, and control. And maybe, just maybe, I could still escape before it swallowed me whole. I never made it to the station. A car, blackout windows, screeching tires. I didn't even get to scream. I woke up with wrists bound behind me, a bag over my head, the air stale and expensive. Then, footsteps. Calm. Measured. Louder. The bag was yanked off, and I blinked into hell. A vast room. Antique furniture, chandeliers dripping crystal, the scent of cigars and some kind of sharp cologne. The walls were wood and marble. The floor beneath me, Persian rug, thick with dust. And in the middle of it all, he stood. I didn't need to know who he was. Somehow I already knew. Giovanni, impeccably dressed, charcoal suit, silver hair slicked back. He looked like a president, or a funeral director, maybe both. He didn't smile. I must say, he said, voice like smoke in winter, you've been quite the problem. My mouth was dry. You're Juan. I said nothing. He stepped forward, slow and deliberate. Forgive the theatrics, he murmured, but you wouldn't come willingly, and frankly, this has gone on long enough. He circled me like a shark, hands folded neatly behind his back. My sons, have been nothing but chaos since the moment you appeared. Disobedient, distracted, emotional. He hissed the word like it disgusted him. And that is unacceptable. I stared at him, hate curdling in my chest. You used them. He paused, then turned. Number-wise shaped them. His voice was cool, clipped. Lorenzo was soft, of no use to me. Dante was angry. I carved out his weakness and turned it into usefulness. Loyalty. They're not yours, I spat. They're people, not property. He finally smiled. Oh, you poor boy, he said. You think love makes you free? Love is a leash you put on them. He crouched in front of me, leaned close. I won't lose my best asset to a pretty face with too many feelings. His hand cupped my chin like I was some pet to examine. You're not the first distraction I've removed. I yanked my face away, heart hammering. And you won't be the last. Around midnight. I'd stopped keeping track of time. In this place, it didn't exist. There was just cold stone, dripping pipes, and the sound of my own breathing, tight, fast, hollow. Giovanni sat across from me like he was on vacation, legs crossed, sleeves rolled, his smile so calm it made my stomach turn. You look surprised, he said earlier. What, you thought I was dead? I didn't answer, didn't blink. If I looked at him too long, I'd break. And he wanted that. He always wanted that. He stood now, slowly, like this was just a chore. Well, I enjoyed our little chat. Such a shame it has to end. You've become such a problem, he murmured, pulling out a small pistol from his coat. Something in me went silent. This was it. After all of it, the forest, the brothers, the blood and heat and questions, I was going to die in a freaking basement. Not with a bang, but with the truth rotting in my throat. He pointed the gun at me. I didn't flinch. Just stared at him, wide-eyed, jaw clenched, heart thudding so loud it blurred the rest of the world. But then, boom, a sound, deafening, another, closer, not my imagination, not thunder, gunfire. Upstairs. Giovanni paused, his brows knit. What the hell? Screams, footsteps. I didn't dare hope. Not until the basement door flew open like it had been kicked off its hinges, and standing there, guns drawn, breathing hard, covered in blood and dirt and rage. Lorenzo and Dante. My heart dropped. I didn't even understand what I was seeing. Them, together. What the hell? Lorenzo's eyes locked on me first. Juan. He was already moving, dropping to his knees beside me, fumbling at the cuffs. Dante called, said it was time to end this. I never thought I'd trust him again, but for you, I had to. Dante didn't speak. His gun was aimed straight at their father. Of course, Giovanni muttered, almost laughing. Of freaking course. My sons. Lorenzo didn't even look at him. He just kept whispering, I got you. I got you. You're okay. I'm sorry. I should have known. My vision was swimming from the pain, the shock, from them, both of them, here, for me. Giovanni cocked the gun. Dante shifted instantly, stepping between him and me. I reached for Lorenzo's belt. He still had a weapon holstered there. My hands were weak, shaking. Giovanni raised the barrel, slow, deliberate, aimed it right at Dante. You have been a mess lately, and I always clean up my messes, he said, and something inside me snapped. I grabbed the gun, didn't think, pulled the trigger. The blast cracked through my skull. Giovanni jerked back, eyes wide. Blood bloomed on his chest, then poured. He collapsed, and all I could do was breathe, fast, shallow, horrified. The gun dropped from my hand, metal clanging against the cold floor. Lorenzo's hands were on me. "Juan, look at me. It's over. It's over." But it wasn't. Not really. Because something in me had shifted. I'd just killed a man, their father, the monster, the devil behind every lie. And I was still breathing, still here. My pulse thundered through me like a warning I didn't know how to read. And then, Dante dropped his gun. Just let it fall. He looked at me like he wasn't seeing blood or trauma or the body of the man who made him a monster. He saw me. He stepped forward, slow but sure, like every step was a choice. And then he kissed me, hard, fierce, like he'd been starving for years and I was the first breath of air. His hands gripped my face. His mouth crushed mine. There was no hesitation, no asking, just want. Heat exploded through me. My knees buckled, but I didn't pull away. It was him, only him. And in that moment, the world stopped. The blood on the floor, the chains, the memories, none of it mattered because it was just us. His breath against mine as he whispered into the kiss, "You freed me. You gave me a new life." And then, just as quickly, he pulled back, breathing hard, eyes glassy, lips red. Reality cracked around us like glass. I turned and saw Lorenzo. His face. Lorenzo's face went slack for a beat, like I'd punched the air out of him. He looked away, jaw tight. When he looked back, his voice was steady, but he blinked hard, like he was tucking the hurt deep down where I couldn't see. My chest caved in. "Lorenzo," I stepped forward. I didn't mean, I never wanted to hurt." But he raised a hand, not angry, not yelling, just tired. "I guess I lost you," he said softly, "the day you learned my truth." He turned without another word and walked into the night, the hurt plain in his shoulders. That was the moment my heart really broke, because I knew he wasn't wrong, and that hurt worst of all. A year later, somewhere along the coast, wind in my hair, blood no longer on my hands, but not forgotten either. I leaned back against the hood of the car. Dante was lighting a cigarette beside me, the flame flickering against his jaw like it knew it was kissing something dangerous. God, he was so freaking beautiful. Sharp where I used to fear, mine where I never expected. He caught me staring and smirked. "You want one?" I shook my head. "I want you." He blew out smoke, slow and lazy, and murmured, "You've got me." And I did. A year ago, after that incident, Dante handed over every file, every ledger, every name tied to Giovanni's empire. Turned them in to Lorenzo, no strings attached. And Lorenzo. He'd kept Dante's name off every sheet, said nothing to the press, buried his brother's past like a secret he was finally ready to protect instead of fight. They weren't brothers in blood anymore. They were brothers in truth. And maybe that was enough. Dante's a stunt coordinator now, because of course he is. Crashes cars, sets himself on fire, jumps off cliffs for a living, still dances with death. But now it's for cameras and contracts, not cold threats and blood money. He comes home to me, to burnt toast, to kisses at 2 a.m., to the sound of my laugh echoing off the walls we painted together. And me? I'm not the boy who met Lorenzo in a forest and mistook safety for love. I've changed. I used to think I needed soft hands and warm arms. Now I know. I need someone who burns for me, who drags me into the fire and teaches me how to dance in it. I still dream of the forest sometimes, the way the air tasted before everything broke, but I wake up next to Dante, and his hands already on my skin, and his kiss tastes like survival. As for Lorenzo, I heard he's dating now, someone kind, someone who calls him Ren. I haven't met him yet, but I've seen the way Lorenzo smiles at his texts. We're friends. Strange, I know. But grief has a way of teaching you how to hold people gently, even when they once tore your heart in half. He forgave me. I forgave myself. And now, I'm in love with the man who kidnapped me, who challenged me, who set me on fire and called it freedom. And I wouldn't change a damn thing. The cigarette's out. Dante's leaning in, brushing his lips over mine. You ready? He asks. For what? He grins. For whatever's next. I smile, and I am. God, I am. The end. If you were in Juan's place, who would you choose? The safe and steady Lorenzo, or the passionate, dangerous Dante? Thanks for watching. Subscribe to become part of our Rainbow Force, and consider joining our membership for early access and exclusive content. Stay wholesome.